For people of all faiths, it is central. Corporate worship, a shared experience of the divine. Full transparency here, I myself am a member of a local Episcopal congregation. But since the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, churches, mosques, synagogues, all houses of worship have fallen silent.
When he did not announce churches in phase 2, immediately we filed the lawsuit.
Bishop Arthur Hodges says the people of his Chula Vista church, and members of every religious faith for that matter, are being discriminated against by Governor Newsom's public health orders. He says he wrote to the governor, talked to officials in his administration, tried everything he could think of before resorting to a lawsuit. Hodges' lawsuit contends the governor's orders violate his church's constitutional rights.
You cannot use a pandemic to continue to abrogate our constitutional rights.
Hodges says it's blatantly unfair that businesses of all sorts are allowed to operate with restrictions, while churches must keep their doors closed. He cites a number of organizations, distribution centers, manufacturing facilities, and airlines.
Why do they get a privilege that churches don't get? Airlines are not in the Constitution. Churches are.
When Governor Newsom issued the orders that forced the closure of churches and many businesses, the delineation was between what was considered essential and what wasn't. That in particular irks Hodges.
Churches are essential. Churches are serving needs of our community nobody else can serve. Churches serve a need in people's lives and communities government cannot serve.
But as deeply committed as Bishop Hodges is to his viewpoint, other San Diego religious leaders are okay with the governor's orders, at least for now. One of them that we talked to cites another part of Scripture to support her viewpoint.
Like many people, I was heartbroken because it is hard for Christians to give up our worshiping life together.
But Bishop Susan Brown Snook says something more important is at stake, the health of the public.
Jesus told us to love God and love our neighbors. Those are the commandments we follow. And stopping in-person worship for a period of time is how we love our neighbors.
Snook says there are other ways of exercising faith, and she's not just talking about Zoom meetings.
Some of our churches are working on small group or home church structures where people can come together in small churches in other places and build from there toward a full gathering.
Bishop Hodges' case is now before the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. It's being handled on an expedited schedule because it involves constitutional rights. Legal analyst Dan Eaton has been closely following the case.
The question is whether, in creating certain exceptions and not including religious services within those exceptions, somehow offends the Constitution. That's really the critical issue here.
A recent ruling from the Sixth Court of Appeals on a similar case found that governors could not forbid outdoor drive-in type services, but the ruling let stand the prohibition against gathering in church buildings. Still, if the Ninth goes against Hodges, then the case will head to the Supreme Court, which could decide not to take it. That would let the Ninth's ruling stand. Or they could take it, which Eaton says would likely slow things way down.
And the one thing everybody can agree with respect to coronavirus and the disease it causes, COVID-19, is that both are moving faster than the speed of law. And by then, God willing, this pandemic will be behind us.
But the disagreements will likely remain. Where should the lines be drawn when it comes to the intersection between the right to freely exercise one's faith in a church building and the risk that could pose to people of faith and those of no faith? Tough questions in the age of COVID-19. John Carroll, KPBS News.